we had a very big, important win up at Southport on Saturday. Good performance, good result.
Yeah, no, it was. You know, we'd had a couple of. It sounds ridiculous to say, doesn't it? But it almost felt a couple of home games where it was a little bit disappointing that we didn't get more out of them, which is an incredible thing to say when you've played the league leaders and the third place team and one of the form teams. But yeah, it did feel a little bit disappointing that we didn't get more out of those 2 games than the 2 points. But then travelling away on Saturday, obviously to Southport, you know, people look at the league table and think that, well, Hereford are favourites there, but it never quite works like that, does it? Because we know it's a really difficult place to go, and they've had some good results of late. So yeah, no, it was an excellent win. The sort of win that you kind of need, really, if you're looking to consolidate yourself in and around the playoff places. The results elsewhere were favourable as well off the back of it. So when you see our win and then you look at the other results, they were favourable results elsewhere. And I just think I couldn't travel Saturday, but it sounded like a performance that was full of heart and character, as we've come to expect from this group of lads. And clearly, obviously, typically Hereford, we gave away a goal towards the end, couldn't have it comfortable, could we, in any way, shape or form? I got cramp in my finger refreshing Twitter for those last few minutes because I'm terrible at listening on the radio, so I couldn't cope with that. So, but yeah, no, a really good win. I was really pleased to see Kieran Phillips score a goal. Took his goal really, really calmly. Obviously, he'd had a couple of chances before that, but I think it would do him the world of good to score that goal. Took it really well, and yeah, no, just really good news, to be honest. And obviously, first of 3 tough away games, and to get 3 points on the board in the first one of them is helpful.
Obviously, quite a few players out injured at the minute, so only 3 subs on the bench, but three subs that were obviously all came on in the end, but all very capable of coming on and putting in a good performance. So, you know, the squad wasn't necessarily weak, just short in number.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and it's not ideal, is it, to travel away and only have 3 substitutes? But at the end of the day, you can only use 3. So you kind of, so the numbers are right. But Paul, I know Paul had looked at bringing other players, looked at getting players, trying to find other players. But actually, what I kind of really like about him is he won't just go and bring people in for the sake of bringing people in. He's got the option. There is the option of him bringing people in, and I'm sure he's working really hard to do so. But actually, I just think that's great that he isn't just going out and spending the money that's available willy-nilly almost. So I think it's a really good thing. He obviously wants the right player, or he wants a player is actually going to add something rather than just a body. So yeah, I admire him for doing that. Obviously, it's not ideal numbers wise, and of course he'd like to have a squad of 16 on a match day, but it is what it is. And on Saturday it worked out okay for us. It's really interesting. And I did see 1 or 2 comments about why didn't we take a couple of youngsters to fill the other spots on the bench? And on paper you could do that, but equally the youngsters that we've got in and around us actually are playing a decent standard of football on a Saturday as well. And actually, would you pull 1 or 2 of them away potentially from a game, try and pull 1 or 2 away, potentially a game against Worcester City, for example, if it was kind of sort of a Westfieldsie type player? And I know, we've had Arwen and Shea have been involved, but again, they've both got other involvements on a Saturday. And, is it for their benefit in reality sometimes to just travel with no real possibility of playing? They're not missing out on experience elsewhere. That's very different. But if they have got something, they have got gaining good experience elsewhere, that's a different type of thing, I think. But all in all, really good weekend. Sundays are much better after a win than after a defeat, that's for sure. And I'm interested to see what happens this week with Paul. I'm sure working hard to try and bring people in.
And in the region of about 250 fans travelling up to Southport, so fantastic support. As we kind of come used to.
Yeah, no surprise, is it? In fairness, 250 people braving the wind at Southport. I don't think there's never non-blowy at Southport, is it? But just watching the highlights and looking at various things online, you can hear the noise that was being made by our fans. So so once again, thank you to everybody that travelled. I'm sure they'll be travelling in good numbers to Kerrs and Ashton on Saturday. I'm looking forward to making the trip up there on Saturday and going back to part of the world that I lived for quite a long time. So it's going to be interesting to go there on Saturday. I'll probably still have fond memories of my appearance for Cheadle Town Reserves at Kerrs and Ashton's old ground in the Lancashire Reserves Cup back in the day. I'm sure there'll probably be a statue or something, or some sort of plaque to commemorate my performance that day.
Was it as good as your normal performances, or
Oh mate, it was right up there. I did get a lot of abuse off an old fella for being overweight. I mean,
Well,
how very dare he? I mean, you'd have thought it, but yeah, no, we won 1-0. I think we only had one shot. I think in the entire game, got absolutely battered, but we won 1-0. So yeah, it was a good day out.
fantastic. Well, changing the subject completely. Obviously, the HFA announced the news about the PDC and the Boys Development Centre not continuing for next season. Obviously disappointing. I know the HFA and ourselves have really looked at seeing if it could continue, but it's just kind of the wrong time at the moment, I guess.
Yeah, no, none of us are blind to the fact that it is sad news and it's disappointing. It's clearly going to be disappointing for the players and families involved. But from our club, from the club's point of view, and that's kind of where I speak from, it's just not feasible for us at the moment to be looking at stepping any further into helping control that or taking on that. Obviously, the sort of way we work with the HFA has been that it's been sort of self-sufficient, if you like, in terms of how it's run, and we obviously have our branding and have a little bit of oversight of it, but in terms of the day-to-day running of that, we didn't have that much more involvement. We obviously we linked in with the HFA about was there any possibilities of us getting more involved, but we've had a big job on really righting the ship at Edgar Street in terms of the main club itself and the core business of the football club, and I don't think we should be doing anything at the moment that puts that work at risk. We've still got an awful lot more to do, and we're committed to doing that. But as much as we acknowledge that it's sad and it's not an ideal scenario from a club's point of view, we right at this point in time, it was just too soon for us to be to be thinking any more about it or thinking of whether we could resource that anymore. So yeah, so it's sad, and I hope in the future something can be done for the youngsters of Herefordshire again, but it's just not the right time for us currently, unfortunately.
The news. There's a bit of an update for the Blackfriars end as well. With notices being put up this week for consent for the demolition of it, which is obviously it ties all in with the leases and kind of that side of things as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Our conversations with the council are ongoing. We've been in really good dialogue with the council for a little while. Obviously, the Blackfriars End demolition notices have gone up this morning, and they've already been spotted by a couple of people, I think, given questions that we've seen. So yeah, no, it's that brings it a bit of reality, doesn't it, to see those signs going up down at the far end of the ground that work is likely or is planned to commence end of May, June time, and hopefully that'll be the first stage towards hopefully getting a development at that end. Again, that's part of our conversations with the council. Immediate priority is to secure a longer lease for ourselves on the three sides of the ground that we currently lease, and obviously then some protection to ensure that we get the rights to have a fourth side to the stadium, so we can hopefully look at our ambitions moving forward. But yeah, no, I think it'll be a big day to see work start at the Blackfriars End, even if it is just demolition work in the first instance. I mean, you've been talking, you're about 103 now, aren't you? So you've been looking at things like that for a long time and have been hearing about things like that for a long time. But I think it would, for the first time to see it become a site, if you like, will be a big moment for everybody, and hopefully is good signs for the future.
Yeah, I do remember sitting in here actually in the boardroom interviewing Graham Turner way back when, and Graham did say that he would get the sledgehammer out and start knocking it in. He was that close at one point. So maybe we should invite him back and he can have the first whack with a sledgehammer.
Absolutely. Well, I did mention it to him when he came as guest for a game not that long ago. Was it the Gateshead game? I did say to him actually, have you still got that sledgehammer? Because we might have to bring it out. We might have to bring it out of retirement at some point soon. And he did laugh. But you could even see Graham when you mentioned the Blackfriars to end to him. He was kind of a bit like, really, there might be some progress. It was kind of like, well, yeah, in theory. So yeah, so hopefully things will begin to move with that. At what pace they'll move after the demolition, we don't know. But as I said, our immediate priority is to secure a longer lease on the ground, and then we can move forward from there.
Yeah, I guess it's important maybe to manage some expectations. Yes, it's being demolished, but there's no 10,000 seater stand penciled in just yet.
No, absolutely. And at the end of the day, you know, it's the council are the landlords on the whole ground, but that's their end, you know. So the project, if you like, there is at that end is going to be down to them. Obviously, we're going to be closely involved, and it's brilliant that they've been so open with us and directly in touch with us already. So they get an idea of what we need and what we want at that end. But we'll just continue to work with them, cooperate fully with them, and support them as best we can. And obviously, with the outcome will be that, you know, their commitment to helping us create a fourth end to the stadium, which is, you know, exactly what we need and what we've needed for a long time.
Brilliant. Well, I think it's quite a short one today, really, update wise. I think that's pretty much everything we wanted to cover. So, actually, one thing, obviously, the Wellington game this evening, which will feature the majority of the 18s. So it's, you know, it's good that they've had a real chance this season in the County Cup competition to kind of put in some decent performances against kind of senior opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in an ideal world, we'd be putting one or two more experienced players in the side to bolster it a little bit and get people some game time. But given we only had 3 substitutes on Saturday, that isn't an option that's available to us, is it? So not quite at the stage where me and you have been brought in as the experienced bodies, Jay. But yeah, no, I'm sure. Once again, I'm sure their youngsters will do themselves, you know, the world of good and do themselves justice tonight. I suspect it'll probably be a tough game against Wellington, because obviously Wellington are going pretty well and are a long established, you know, Herefordshire club. But you know, I'm sure our lads will go and give it their best shot and represent the club as well as they have done in the previous rounds. And obviously I wish them all the best.
Yeah, and hopefully a few Hereford fans will make the 10-15 minute trip out to Wellington and kind of boost their funds a little bit as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and it's important. You know, it's good to go and support different local football clubs. I always smile at occasionally when we don't have a Saturday game, and I see where our fans have ended up watching their football on a Saturday. And not too many of them want a Saturday off from football, do they? They're all trying to find a new game and that sort of stuff. And you know, I've occasionally popped down to Malvern Town myself and have a little look at them and that sort of stuff. But I shan't be at Wellington tonight because I'm going to watch my son in a schools cup match, so I shall be following the Wellington game on Twitter while being a nervous wreck watching my own son play this evening.
Brilliant. Well, hope it goes well tonight for Freddie, and I won't see you on Saturday because I'm missing a game. So yeah, it'll be a little while next week sometime, but there we are.
Excellent. Very much. You turned down a lift and everything.
Yeah, well, yeah, don't take it personally.
Have a good one, mate. Have a good one.